You're listening to the Social Selling Simplified podcast. Stick around if you too are obsessed with learning things that actually work and believe that success leaves clues. We're all about identifying results-producing roadmaps and getting super clear on how to scale and grow your online business. From part-timer to president, social selling expert Ashley Shaw will help you connect the dots and take the guesswork out of what works to grow a social selling empire. It's time to hear from social selling legends, listen in on truthful conversations, and learn the best tips and tricks to reduce the marketing overwhelm so you can build the social selling business of your dreams. If you're ready to go all in, no holding back, and build the business you've always wanted, you're in the right place. Here's your host, educator, social selling guru, and fitness industry OG, Ashley Shaw.
Welcome to Social Selling Simplified. I'm your host, Ashley Shaw, and today I have Krista Mashore on, and we are going to be diving into all things simplifying social selling and marketing. And Krista is a motivational speaker and the author of 3 best-selling books, which all focus on business development, digital marketing, and becoming an authority in your profession. So after building up her own coaching company from zero to a $7.4 million company in 25 months, she's known as a digital marketing queen, and she now coaches and trains people throughout the US on cutting-edge digital marketing strategies and how using video can help people to quickly become a go-to authority in their industry. I am so excited to have you today here, Krista, and to be able to dive into video because I know a lot of people in the social selling world struggle with it, and it's such a cool tool, an important tool to be able to use. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Ashley. I feel like we're soul sisters with our content that we we talk about. It's like, I'm sure I'm going to be saying everything that you already say because we pretty much speak the same language when it comes to marketing. So yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Love your show. I'm excited to be here. And video is something that no one is comfortable with. I mean, if I ask 100 people, I'm not even kidding, maybe 2 will say they like it. We always say that they're the weird ones because no one likes it, right? Yeah. But it's a skill that can be absolutely taught. And if anybody asked me what was the biggest impact on my businesses that I've had, and I actually have 2 multi-million-dollar companies, I will tell you that both the foundation of them have been based upon utilizing social selling through video and then properly distributing the video and making sure that it actually gets in front of the right people.
Yeah, I love that. I think I'm someone that I'm now very comfortable with video, but I remember, if I think back 10 years ago, I was making these like scarf tutorial videos and they were so bad. And I knew they were bad and they also looked really bad, but I just thought, okay, this is just what I have to do to get through it. And eventually when I became passionate about what I was selling, because I wasn't passionate about scarves or scarf rings or anything like that back then when I was creating them, I think it became easier and easier to feel good on video. And then of course you get people's feedback and questions and that you really help them. And it's this conversation that's just beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's so funny. Just on Facebook, a video just popped up from 8 years ago. And it was basically, I had to spend $2,000 to have this little mini commercial made of me that was like a minute and a half for $2,000. All right. And it played at the movie theaters. Now, I know it's so cheesy, but it worked. People will still say, I saw you at the movie theaters. I'm like, that was 8 years ago. But anyway, the idea is there's something called a parasocial relationship. And what that is based upon us watching TV when we were younger, our brains have literally been programmed to see somebody on the other side of a TV screen or a monitor or a phone that's doing video. And we start to see them as somebody of authority and we develop a relationship with them. It's called a one-sided relationship. Research shows that the more people see you, the more they like you, right? Which is weird. So you might see them as super annoying. You don't like them, but the more you see them, it's like they're kind of start to sort of wear on you, right? In a good way. And so, I know you deal with a lot of Beachbody people with multi-level marketing. And I'll tell you that I also am a multi-level marketer, if you want to call it that. I am a real estate agent. I am a coach and I work with EXP. So EXP is what you want to call multi-level marketing. I call it a compensation for contribution and for giving somebody, great advice and feedback, kind of like a referral fee. But it works so well. I mean, because it breaks down barriers. People get to know you. They get to like you. They get to trust you. They see you as the authority. I mean, anyone that's listening to this right now, why are you listening to Ashley? right? Why are you listening to her show? You're listening to her show because she's positioned herself as the expert and you trust her. Otherwise, you'd be listening to 80 million other podcasts that are out there, right? And that's just her voice. Do you do this on video too? Ashley, do you do that both?
I do a lot of like Facebook Live stuff. I don't always have the podcast episode go live, but it's something I've very much considered.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you should absolutely do it. Yeah. See,
Yeah.
everyone tell her she should do it. But so the thing is that, you're developing a relationship with Ashley and you're putting, you're giving her your most valuable asset, which is your time. And now if Ashley has a recommendation or she wants to sell a product, you're going to be more likely to want to buy this because you already like Ashley. You like Ashley. You trust Ashley. She's, you see her as an authority figure. It's the same with you, right? If you want to be known, if you want to sell your product, you've got to be seen and you've got to be heard. And, when you do video, and more importantly, when you properly distribute that video, I call it the 8 C's. You got to commit to consistently producing content correctly, meaning correctly distributing it, giving the right content at the right time. You're going to make a connection with people, so you're going to convert more clients and customers. And if you like money, you want to start doing video. If you don't like money, then don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you're doing, right? But, the stats on video, you get an 800% more conversion on a landing page with video as compared to one that doesn't. 64% of customers say that they're more likely to buy a product or a service when they see a video on it, right? You're selling a product or service, and quite frankly, you're a product and you're a service. So if they're 64% more likely to work with you, right, and buy you and buy your product because they see a video, you should be doing video. And I guarantee you it's the fastest way. If anyone said, Krista, how did you go from $0 to $7.4 million in 25 months? That seems almost impossible. I did it because I developed a relationship with my audience. I served before I tried to sell. I got them to know me, like me, and trust me. I call it dating before you just jump into bed with somebody, right? You date, you court, you hold hands, you talk on the phone. You don't just say, let's hop in the sack. Some people might want to do that, but for the most part, we usually date first, right? So that's what I call it. I kind of use that analogy. So when you start using video and people are getting to know you, they're more likely to want to download your lead magnet or buy your product or click on your thing because they trust you.
Mm. So many good things that you just said. I want to make sure that I have those stats correctly. So you said when you have a video on your conversion page, it's 800% more likely. Is it?
Yeah. So a landing page that has a video on it has 800% more conversions than as compared to one without video, right? Okay. You get 66% more qualified leads from video, and 64% of customers say they're more likely to buy a product that has video associated with it. And I always remind everyone, you're a product. Like if you're selling something, you're a product, they're buying you and your product, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's funny because I know I watch Frank Kern from time to time. I'm not sure if you've heard of Frank.
Yes,
Kern,
you love Frank.
Yeah. Yeah. And he talks about how when he started going live every day, his conversions went up 800%.
Wow. Somebody said 800%.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah. So it totally, like everything that you're saying totally makes sense. And so what are the best practices around video? Like what things do we need to know to make sure we're showing up properly?
So it's really simple, right? Everyone overthinks it. And I always tell everyone it's better to be perfectly imperfect and to take action than not to do anything at all, right? All you need is a cell phone. I don't know any person that doesn't have one of these. We all have a cell phone, right? You just take the cell phone. You just make sure there's no underwear in the background. You make sure that you can actually hear you and there's, you don't have a booger in your nose or something in your teeth, and you just hit record. It's that simple. And you can get fancier as time goes by, and you can utilize services like Fiverr or, these different sites, freelancer.com, or you can find someone to edit your video for you for $15 to $50, depending on the length. And you just go for it, right? And you mix it up between don't just always talk about business. That's a really big one. You don't just want to always be business, because people will tune you out, especially in multi-level marketing. You got to be really careful not to be that person that's like, oh my God, it's Susie again. She's going to talk to me about buying Beachbody. Oh, delete, I'm not answering her call. Mm-hmm. You don't want that. So the more that you can do video where it's, you talk about your community, fun things to do, places to go with your spouse, dog parks, walking parks, trails, the best hot dogs in town, where to get the best happy hour, all of that stuff. Like when you start talking about that, hacks, tips, tricks, and then you accompany it with your product and your service. And then, every 2 or 3 videos, you're going to do one that's just on your product or service. Every other video, you might slightly mention at the very end or somehow sneak it in. Like, for example, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I just wrote this book and I was just thinking about you because you just mentioned, social selling. And if you want a copy of it, you can find it on Amazon. I mean, something like that, similar without like sneak it in, if that makes sense. So it doesn't seem like you're always trying to be in everybody's face about your product. And you'll just notice that your sales will just start skyrocketing. Now, another big idea, Ashley, not idea, but really to be careful with is properly distributing. And what I mean by that is, let's, for example, I've mastered Facebook. So when I put a video out there and I run an ad behind it, I get anywhere from 200 to 600 hours of watch time. That means people actually watching every video that I do with like a $200 ad spend. If you're just posting on your business page or your Facebook page, nobody is seeing it. Only 0 to 2% of people are seeing it. It's just your family members and your friends, because Facebook's algorithm is only letting the people that are already commenting, they're already talking and engaging with you, see your stuff, because that's its job. You want the rest of the world to see your stuff, right? Whether it be local or across the country. I'm not sure what your people prefer, but if you want to do it locally, you've got to pay for ads. So you take those videos, you go into your ads manager account or whatever social media site you prefer, you start running paid ads to beat the algorithm, basically, because to have an organic video that goes viral is like, less than 0.0001%, right? So the people that are really succeeding more quickly are paying to play. And, it doesn't need to be a ton of money. You could spend a couple $100 a month and then increase that. But what I will tell you is that the more that you spend, the more quickly you're going to see that reach, and the more that you're going to be able to be making later. So as soon as you start doing this, you'll quickly want to increase your budget because the impact is massive.
Mm-hmm. It's like you were saying at the beginning, you and I just talk the same language.
Uh-huh.
I love it. It's, we talk a lot about social media posts and the fact that, you got to show up, like you've got to be consistent. But a lot of people focus really hard on that. Like, I'm not getting followers. And it is really tough because the algorithm just that's not what, they want you to pay.
Yeah.
So
you got to pay to play.
Well, yeah. So, And what would you say? I know for my business, like we 10x'd from 1 year to the next in terms of our ad spend, and right behind it came the results. So would you say, like in your business, when you first started, when it came to your spend compared to what it is now, like how would you say that it increased? Was it quite a big, was it?
Yeah.
Like
it
that?
was. I mean, so, no one ever talks about like, oh, I've got, $4 million funnels that I made. But no one ever talks about the money they spent to get that. Right. So, my goal was to make a massive impact quickly. And so there was the highest month, I think we're at 120,000 a month on ad spend, but we made 700,000 or 670,000 that month, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we actually increased. So we went a couple months without making really any money at all, like very little. And then, 1 month it went from 40,000 to like 270,000, and then like to 440,000. And around then we were doing like 40, 50, $60,000 in ad spend. But what happens is the more that you spend, the lower the ROAS typically, right? So you have to be careful how fast you scale, how much you take off when something's not working. You have to be careful of all those things because it affects the algorithm. And also you need to make sure that you don't, stop running an ad too soon, because Facebook does take time to learn the audience and to learn who best wants to interact with it and who's going to be seen with. So that has a lot to do with it. But one thing too that I do that most people don't, and in fact, one of my mentors, Russell Brunson from ClickFunnels, I'm in his mastermind, his inner circle, and they were all like, how did you do this so quickly? And I said, everyone is just creating lead magnets. They want everyone's information. They want you to download their stuff so that they can get your, name, email address, and all that. But they don't know who you are. So the likelihood for them to want to click is very, very low. So what I always have done is I actually pay money to do videos, to get the videos out there first. So people just get to know me. I give information, I give value, I give helpful tips and tricks and help and all that. And then after I've targeted them and retargeted them with ads so they get to know me, they're familiar with my brand, they're more comfortable with me, then I'll send them something to download, right, to collect their information. Because as you know, Ashley, our goal is to get their information and get them off of these other platforms and onto our own so that we own our own list. But most people are like, let's just jump into bed, and they forget to date first. So that has been very, very helpful for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. There's such a better way to go about it when it comes to like putting videos out, warming them up. Like you said, it's like, I've used this analogy a lot with dating. It's like you get out your app on whatever it is you're using these days, like Tinder or whatever.
Swipe right, swipe left.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like the only way that somebody is going to really know if they want to go further with you is if you give them some context. So that's where the videos come in, the engagement, and see if there's a spark there, because it's like you can't just ask for their phone number or further, or that commitment, like, hey, you want to get married? Like, don't be creepy. slow
I
it
know.
down. Like, let that engagement build between you, create that curiosity, just like you would with your like online profile. Like, you got to make it sexy, and then
Absolutely.
people will be attracted to that. So
Hmm.
I love that. Like, totally on the same page with that. So let's talk about in terms of what you're distributing and putting out there. Like, what are the non-negotiables every week as an entrepreneur? What do you need to be doing with video to make sure that you're doing enough?
So I encourage all of my students to do 3 videos a week at minimum, right? Which means most of them do 2. And I'm happy with them doing 2 as ones that they're actually paying ads behind. They're putting ads behind and distributing them, right? And I let them choose their budget. I recommend a minimum of $200 a video if you can, right? If not, do 100, do 50, do something. And then I redistribute everything. It's called video repurposing, which I'm sure you know what this is. So I record a video. I get it transcribed through rev.com or HappyScribe. HappyScribe is free up to 2 hours a month. And then I take that transcription and I clean it up, add some emojis to it, and I do a long form post on Facebook. I take that video and I put it on my Facebook page, my business page, and then I run an ad behind that video. I also take that video and do snippets of it and run an ad on Instagram, right? Or put snippets of it on Instagram. I upload it into YouTube, okay? Make sure I've got good tags and good description and all that great stuff. And I put it on my website, and then I put the transcription on my website as well, because Google owns YouTube. So when you put the videos on YouTube, Google likes video more than anything else. So what happens is you start showing up on the first page of Google. When you also, by putting it on Facebook, it also happens by putting it on YouTube, by putting it on your website, right? Put it on your website, same thing. It's connected to Google. So then Google reads that, and then it starts to the algorithm starts to pick up the content and the information. And because it's video content, you start showing up higher on the searches. Most of my students within 3 months will get on the first page of Google just from doing that, right? And then make sure if you're like geo-targeting locally, I know Beachbody, most people are kind of all over the place, but you'd be amazed at what you can do locally on a really massive level, and it's less expensive, right? So you can reach people by the masses locally. So for me and for you, we're trying to do this, nationally, right? We're going all over the United States. So for us, our budget does not nearly go anywhere near, like it's like 1/1000th, of an impact as it is for, let's say, you're people that are trying to locally just get their own city or maybe 1 or 2 zip codes, right? Because they're being seen over and over and over again. And they're getting that massive exposure on a consistent basis. And then people start to see them as the authority figure in their space.
Right. So when it comes to the transcription, you always make sure to upload that in YouTube so that it's at the bottom of all your videos.
Yeah. So in other words, you want to be able to see the words on all the videos, because 80% of videos are watched without sound.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's crazy.
And also on your Facebook videos too. Mm-hmm. And then another thing to do is when you're running the ads is, and you got to play with this too, but there's those ads, you have the picture, and then on the top, there's words on the top and words on the bottom. It really catches your attention, so those ads work sometimes. Although you got to be careful, because Facebook doesn't like a lot of words sometimes on the ads. As you got to be careful of that percentages and just kind of see how it goes. But Facebook wants you to do well, believe it or not. All these social media platforms want you to do well when you're paying. Like, it's advantageous for them to help your ads go through and to help your ads reach a lot of people and for you to convert, quite frankly, because that's how they make their money, So they really are on your team, and they're making it to where they want you to be successful, but you got to start. And everyone, as far as doing video and running ads and learning these things, they're so busy aiming, right? Like, they're so busy getting ready that they never fire. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that most people have, is that they're just so in their head, and they're worried about that they're too skinny, or they're too fat, or they're too green, or they've got a big nose, or they don't like their hair, or I can go on and on for 100 hours. I don't like the way I sound, right? Like, I have a weave, so I personally got extensions. I don't have my extensions in. I hate the way that I look. Like, I can't stand it. But I still did video. In fact, my hair a couple months ago was short and brown, and it was like frizzy and fried. And I still did videos the same. And I'll be honest, I did not feel comfortable. I didn't feel sexy. I didn't feel like, I was self-conscious. And in the back of my mind, I always felt that way, but I still did it, right? And we're our own worst critics. And, it helped my business substantially. And I don't do enough lives. Like, after talking to you and hearing what Frank Kern said, now I got to do more lives. I'm going to do today.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like, it's easy to get caught up in your head.
Yes.
And that people are like noticing these same things. And then there's also like the trolls on on Facebook or any ad platform, but that's what they do. They just look for things to comment on, and those aren't your people anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
Absolutely. And you know what? If you don't have people that are haters, that you haven't made it. So that's good. Once you get your haters, like it. And it's easy for any scumbag to sit behind the computer and, comment and be mean, like all the world to them. You don't want those people anyways. They're not nice. But I mean, I have people all the time that, who cares? Like the whole idea about video is you're attracting your ideal customer client avatar. You're attracting the ones that you want to work with and that want your services, and you're repelling the ones that don't. So therefore your job becomes easier. You like who you work with. I mean, I have an amazing community and an amazing tribe, because before they ever join my program, they already know me. They're like, I feel like I know you. I'm like, that's the point. That's what I'm going to teach you how to do. Right. And so, and it's like almost this little mini celebrity factor. And it's the weirdest thing to even say that. And I almost kind of feel embarrassed, but people like in my community, they'll come up to me and be like, Krista, oh my gosh, I love your videos. Or they'll start talking to me like I'm their long lost best friend. And I have no clue who they are. And I always just follow along. Right. And now it's happening on a national level. I'll go to conferences, their marketing conferences or real estate conferences, and people are like, oh, Krista, I've read your book. And it's just like, and it's all because of video. Right. And they would never have bought my book had I not used video to get it out there. And the book I make nothing on, right? Like, it was books you lose money, quite frankly, but it's just a catalyst to them learning further about me, understanding that I have knowledge, and then wanting to work with me down the line. So, there's just so many benefits to using video and properly distributing it and putting yourself out there. Yeah. You'll make more money. You'll make more of an impact, even more important.
Yeah, for sure. And so when it comes to using the right tags and search terms, how do you make sure that you're nailing those things?
So you got to be careful. So with search terms that are too popular, it actually makes it harder to show up. So when you're trying to get found, the more specific you are, the more you're actually going to be seen. So let's say, for example, there's a term, Google, and Google is searched like 80 million times a month, right? So you're never going to show up even if you use the Google 15 times in your video. But let's just say you're using something like, how does Beachbody, give me a product from Beachbody.
The newest product is called Muscle Burns Fat. It's like,
how Beachbody Muscle Burns Fat actually really works on getting rid of cellulite, right? Something like that. I know that seems really, really like, oh my God, who's going to do that? But I guarantee you people are searching that. Okay. So now anyone that searches that you are going to show up, especially on page 1, because that's exactly what's in your video. Now you want to make sure that for whatever term you're trying to show up on, that you say it. So for example, I'm a real estate agent. So I wouldn't just say, here's your local market update. I'd say, here's your local market update for Brentwood, California, 94513. Right. And I'd say that 2 times in the video, so that now when people are looking for an update, they're specifically, their city is coming up. Right. So they need to make sure that the verbiage and the terms are coming up that people are going to search with. It's not so broad that they're getting, it's like a 1 grain of sand and 8 million of them. You know what I'm saying? Let me give them a really easy thing too on how do you do a video so people will watch it, right? Because remember, you only have 6 seconds, and that is a new stat that is real and true, that our brains are 6 seconds like a goldfish. That's how much time that we have to capture somebody's attention. So you never want to start a video saying, hi, I'm Krista with Beachbody. No, you want to say, oh my gosh, do you have stubborn fat that you can never get rid of it? It's like, it's right there. And every time you put your clothes on, your stomach is like hanging over. Boom. So the first thing you want to do is you want to capture somebody's attention, right? Then the second thing you want to do is you want to align with their feelings. And you want to be like, oh my gosh, I know. Just recently, I've lost 15 pounds. And before that, like I felt so uncomfortable in my clothes all the time, right? So you align with their feeling. So number 1, grab attention. Number 2, align with their feelings. Number 3, you position yourself as the authority without saying, oh, I'm the best, whatever. So for the Beachbody people, it'd be like, listen, I've been selling Beachbody and I've sold over, 30,000, blah, blah, blah. Right. And I've helped over 30,000 people, or I've sold over 5,000 homes, or I've worked with 6 buyers in this city, or, something very specific that positions you as the expert to give them a reason to want to continue to listen. Then you give them your tips and tricks, boom, boom, boom. And then you give them a call to action, or you just say goodbye, depending on what the reasoning is for your video. People will always say, well, Krista, what video should I do? Or what ad should I run? And I'm like, well, it depends. What's your objective? Who is your audience? Right? What action do you want them to take? So you can't really answer the question of what video should I run, until you know who's your audience, what phase of the buying cycle are they in? Are they researching? Are they ready to make a decision? Are they comparing and contrasting? Like, where are they at, right? So again, grab their attention, right? Hook them. Then you're going to want to align with their feelings. Then you're going to want to show how you're the authority figure and why they should continue to listen to you. Number 4 is give them the tips or tricks. Number 5 is give them a call to action. Okay. So that's how you do a video so people will actually watch. Never ever start with, Hi, I'm Krista.
And how long is the ideal time frame for a video?
Shorter is better. So anything under 90 seconds is best. Actually, 60 seconds is best. And you'd be amazed what you can get out in 60 seconds, right? Like you'd be amazed. And the idea is, that's a great question. How long? It depends upon where they're at in the cycle of targeting. So if you're targeting somebody for the first time, you want it to be 60 seconds. If they've watched an entire video through play, you need to watch the entire thing, and it's on a specific subject and you're targeting them, you're retargeting them, then you want to make sure that the next one can be a little bit longer because you know they were originally interested in what you were doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So remember we talked about commit to consistently producing content correctly meaning what type of content, and correctly meaning what kind of content, right? If you're giving them the right kind of content, research shows that you're going to convert more people. For example, I'm 49 years old. I'm going through menopause. Okay. I get hot flashes. So if I see something on Facebook about hot flashes, I'm like, oh my God, I get hot flashes. I want to download this because it sucks to be like 150 degrees, right? But if I see something on Facebook that talks about how to, grow hair as a bald man who's 75, I'm not interested. So the more that your content speaks directly to your client, the more likely they're going to convert. So the longer it is, again, is based upon where they're at in the cycle. Are you retargeting them? Is this their first interaction? What do you want them to do? Where are you taking them from?
Got it. Okay. And then my last question is, when is the best time of day that you would recommend doing your videos?
The truth is, everyone, is just do it when you're going to do it. Right? I mean, really, the truth is to do it when you're going to do it. So if you look at like Facebook stats show that if you could do Tuesday compared to Thursday, you get way more engagement on Thursday compared to Tuesday. And typically in the mornings around lunchtime and in the evenings, you have more watch time or more eyes are on Facebook because in the morning they're getting ready or they're on their way to work, right? They're commuting or they're in traffic. During lunchtime, they have a break. At the after work, they have a break. Again, they're commuting or they're winding down for the day. And then sometimes even late at night. But honestly, just when you're going to do it. And how do you make sure that you're going to do it? Number one, and I know this is difficult right now given what's going on in our world, but getting up every day and sticking to a routine, getting up, going to the gym, doing your morning ritual, taking a shower and getting dressed and putting your makeup on, right? If you feel comfortable wearing makeup. If you're not going to do a video because you don't have makeup on, don't let that be an excuse, and commit for the next 30 days to getting your butt out of bed, taking a shower, washing your hair, making yourself look presentable so that when you get that urge to do a video, do it. And when you get that urge, you have that feeling like you've learned something cool, or you watched a cool podcast, or you read a great book, or you heard something nice, or you made a great meal, or something cool happened and you're like, wow, this is really great. At that second, do the video. Right then. Don't write it down. Don't wait. Do it right then, because if you don't, you won't do it later on. You just won't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So very true. I love it. There's so many really good takeaways here. I think like if you're a newbie out there, the best way is just the biggest takeaway there is 3 videos a week. Start with that, then start putting that ad spend behind it to get in front of more people and grow that audience. So many great things. Well, I'm so appreciative of your time.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Anytime. So, Krista, where can people find you? Where can they learn more about your book? I know you have some gifts you're giving away. Where is the best place to connect with you?
Yes, so we are giving away a new copy of my book. It isn't even out yet. It's the ultimate digital marketing playbook for dominating your local area. Now, the reason I say local is because, again, I'm trying to make it niche specific, so it's easier for me to compete with every other book out there. This works whether you're a coach, a multi-level marketer. It's everything that we just talked about. I dive deep into the 8 C's, the selling cycle, and why most businesses and most multi-level marketers fail. And it helps you. So take the guesswork out of digital marketing, maximize your profits, and become the authority in your profession or business, even in a bad economy. So if you tag Krista Mashore on Instagram and you tag Ashley Shaw on Instagram, Ashley is going to help with me getting you a copy of my book. We're going to give you a free digital copy of it so that you can have it. And it's a real awesome book. I actually have 3 best-selling books. This is my 4th one that I've written. Promise you'll get a ton out of it. And if you email Ashley, how do you want them to let them know that they've done that so they can get a copy? What's the best way?
I will track them whenever they tag me and you. So that's Krista Mashore. So it's Mashore. And then my Instagram is at the Ashley Shaw. And I will make sure I send you all the people that tag us.
Awesome. So so again, Krista Mashore, it's Mashore, and you got Ashley Shaw, and we'll get you that book. And thank you for having me. I love your messaging and what you're doing for everyone out there, and you're helping everybody. And I really feel like we speak the same language. So hopefully I didn't bore everybody because they're like, Ashley says this stuff all the time.
Oh, no. That was so good. I really appreciate you being on today. Thank you so much, Krista.
Have a great day, everyone.
If you're ready to turn your Beachbody dream into a Beachbody business, I have something special for you. Business Boot Camp for Fitness Coaches will help you overcome the overwhelm of never knowing what to post so you can show up consistently on social, get off the icky hey girl hamster wheel, and finally see more engagement from customers who enthusiastically slide into your DMs to join you. This Facebook group is totally free to join. Head to ashleyshaw.ca/bootcamp to sign up now. And just for joining, you'll get 5 totally templated social media posts that work, accountability and camaraderie in our private Facebook group, and that post-workout feeling of accomplishment. See you there. Again, you can head to ashleyshaw.ca/bootcamp to sign up now.